The idea of a cosmic battle, a war in heaven, has fascinated believers and theologians for centuries. It's a story filled with mystery, drama, and profound implications for our understanding of good and evil. But what exactly happened during this war? Was it a literal battle with swords and shields, or a symbolic struggle between spiritual forces? And what does it mean for us today? Imagine a realm beyond time and space, where the most powerful beings in existence, angels, led by the archangel Michael, and rebellious forces under the leadership of Lucifer, engage in a titanic struggle. The outcome of this war would shape the destiny of all creation, including humanity. But to truly grasp the significance of this event, we must delve into the Bible and other ancient texts to piece together the story of the war in heaven. But why should you explore the story? You might be wondering, is the war in heaven just a metaphor, or did it really happen? This question has intrigued scholars, theologians, and believers for generations. The story of the war in heaven is more than just a dramatic tale. It's a foundational narrative that helps us understand the origins of evil, the nature of free will, and the ongoing struggle between good and evil that permeates our world. Over the years, I've studied the biblical accounts, as well as interpretations from early church fathers and various theological perspectives, to better understand this epic conflict. While the Bible provides some details, it leaves much to our interpretation, inviting us to explore the deeper meanings and implications of this cosmic battle. By examining the texts and the context in which they were written, we can gain valuable insights into what really happened during the war in heaven and what it means for us today. In this video, we'll explore the biblical and extra-biblical accounts of the war in heaven, focusing on the key figures, the nature of the conflict, and its significance for humanity. We'll look at the roles of Michael, Lucifer, and the angels who chose sides in this celestial battle. By the end, you'll have a deeper understanding of this pivotal event and its relevance to the ongoing spiritual battles we face in our own lives. We'll also address some of the most intriguing questions. Was this war a physical or spiritual conflict? What were the consequences of the battle, both in heaven and on earth? And how does this ancient war continue to influence the struggle between good and evil today? By examining these questions, we'll uncover the layers of meaning behind the war in heaven and how it continues to resonate with us. That's great, but who were the key players? To understand the war in heaven, we must first look at the key figures involved in this cosmic conflict. The Bible introduces us to two main characters, Michael, the archangel, and Lucifer, also known as Satan. Michael is described as one of the chief princes in heaven, a powerful warrior who leads the armies of God. In the book of Daniel, 10:13-12:1, Michael is depicted as the protector of Israel, a guardian who fights against the forces of darkness. In the New Testament, specifically in Revelation 12:7-9, Michael is seen leading the heavenly hosts in battle against the dragon, identified as Satan. Lucifer, on the other hand, is a figure of great complexity. According to Christian tradition, he was originally a high-ranking angel, possibly even the most beautiful and powerful of all God's creations. However, pride and a desire for power led to his rebellion. The name Lucifer means light-bearer, reflecting his original status before his fall from grace. Isaiah 14:12-15 and Ezekiel 28:12-17 are often interpreted as describing Lucifer's fall, although these passages primarily address earthly kings. The conflict between these two powerful beings, Michael, the defender of God's order, and Lucifer, the rebellious instigator, forms the crux of the war in heaven. But they weren't alone. The Bible indicates that a third of the angels sided with Lucifer in his rebellion, Revelation 12:4, while the remaining angels stood with Michael, loyal to God. One of the most debated aspects of the war in heaven is whether it was a literal battle or a symbolic representation of a spiritual struggle. The imagery in Revelation 12:7-9 is vivid. And there was war in heaven, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. This passage suggests a literal conflict with actual combat between opposing forces. However, many theologians argue that the war described here is symbolic of a deeper spiritual battle, one that took place in the hearts and minds of the angels, a struggle over allegiance to God or rebellion against his authority. The symbolic interpretation gains further support when considering that spiritual beings, like angels, operate on a different plane of existence than humans. The weapons of this war might not have been swords and shields, but rather the power of choice, free will, and the consequences of those choices. The casting out of Lucifer and his followers could symbolize their separation from God's presence, a banishment from the divine order into a state of rebellion and chaos. The outcome of the war in heaven was decisive. Lucifer and his followers were defeated and cast out of heaven. But the consequences of this battle were far-reaching, affecting not only the celestial realm, but also the earthly one. Lucifer, now known as Satan, and his fallen angels were cast down to earth. This event is often linked with the introduction of sin and evil into the world. According to Christian tradition, Satan became the prince of this world, John 12:31, working to oppose God's plan and lead humanity astray. The fallen angels, now demons, continue to serve Satan, perpetuating evil and chaos in the world. The war in heaven also had significant implications for humanity. The battle between good and evil, which began in the heavenly realm, now plays out on earth. Every person is caught in this spiritual struggle, with the forces of good and evil vying for their allegiance. The Bible frequently describes this ongoing conflict, encouraging believers to put on the full armor of God, Ephesians 6:11, to stand against the schemes of the devil. One of the most profound questions surrounding the war in heaven is why some of the angels, who were in the very presence of God, chose to rebel. This question touches on the concept of free will, which is central to Christian theology. God created angels like humans with free will, the ability to choose between right and wrong, between obedience and rebellion. Lucifer's rebellion is often seen as the first exercise of free will in defiance of God. Despite being created as a perfect being, Lucifer chose to rebel out of pride and a desire to be like God. His fall is a stark reminder that free will comes with the responsibility to choose wisely. The choice to rebel was not without consequences. Lucifer and the angels who followed him were expelled from heaven, separated from the presence of God. This act of rebellion introduced sin into the cosmos, leading to a state of conflict that continues to affect both the spiritual and physical realms. The war in heaven underscores the importance of free will in God's creation. It's a reminder that every being, whether angelic or human, is given the freedom to choose their path, but with that freedom comes the weight of responsibility and the reality of consequences. Although the war in heaven was a decisive event, the battle between good and evil didn't end with Lucifer's expulsion from heaven. Instead, it shifted to earth, where humanity became the new battleground. The Bible is clear that the spiritual war continues, with Satan and his forces constantly seeking to undermine God's work and lead people away from him. This ongoing conflict is evident in the temptations and trials we face daily. The New Testament frequently warns believers to be vigilant and resist the devil's schemes. In 1 Peter 5:8, we are told, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour." The war in heaven also sets the stage for the ultimate showdown between good and evil, as described in the book of Revelation. The final battle, known as Armageddon, will see the forces of God, led by Christ, decisively defeating Satan and his followers, bringing an end to their reign of terror and ushering in a new era of peace and righteousness. The story of the war in heaven is not just an ancient tale, but a narrative with profound implications for our lives today. It teaches us about the nature of free will, the consequences of rebellion, and the ongoing spiritual battle that each of us is a part of. First, the war in heaven reminds us of the importance of our choices. Just as the angels had the freedom to choose between allegiance to God and rebellion, so do we. Every decision we make, whether big or small, is a reflection of our values and our relationship with God. Second, the story encourages us to be vigilant in our spiritual lives. The battle between good and evil is ongoing, and we are called to stand firm in our faith, using the spiritual tools God has given us to resist temptation and live according to his will. Finally, the war in heaven offers hope. Despite the presence of evil and suffering in the world, the Bible assures us that God's ultimate victory is certain. The forces of darkness, though powerful, are no match for the power of God. As believers, we can take comfort in the knowledge that we are on the winning side and that one day all wrongs will be righted and peace will be restored. Now that you've explored the story of the war in heaven, it's time to reflect on its significance for your own life. How are you using your free will? Are there areas where you need to be more vigilant in your spiritual life? How does knowing about this cosmic battle impact the way you live and make decisions? I encourage you to take some time to ponder these questions and consider sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Let's build a community of believers who are committed to understanding the deeper truths of the Bible and applying them to our lives. If you found this exploration of the war in heaven intriguing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're on a journey to uncover the powerful stories and lessons hidden in the pages of Scripture, from the epic battles of the past to the spiritual challenges of today. Join us as we continue to delve into the Bible, exploring the lives of the prophets, the mysteries of God's plan, and the timeless truths that guide us in our faith. Whether you're new to the Bible or a lifelong student, there's always more to discover. So subscribe, share your insights, and let's walk this path of faith together. The war in heaven may be a story of the past, but its lessons are timeless. It's a tale of choice, conflict, and the ultimate triumph of good over evil, a narrative that continues to resonate with us today. As we reflect on this cosmic battle, may we be inspired to choose wisely, live faithfully, and stand firm in the knowledge that God's victory is assured.